Hello, and welcome to another monthly reading from Karen's Colours. I'm Dr. Karen, an Australian sociologist with a primary interest in the language of colour as it pertains to the way in which people view each other and also in the way in which we act in our everyday lives. This month, I've decided to choose a new oracle that I received just recently. It's by Sharina Starr, and it's called the Fortune Oracle. There aren't very many cards in this, but I have noticed that the cards that do exist here are really quite interesting. So hopefully they'll help us along our journey in May, because we've had a couple of really torrid months. Everyone in the world has been subjected to quite a high level of anxiety. And I hope that this month's readings for May 2026 will help to curb some of that anxiety and bring us all back down to earth and to a situation where we can actually be kind to one another. So let's get started, shall we? To begin with, let's select an oracle card to help us along and give us some extra definition to the colour reading. As you can see, my shuffling has not improved at all. Anyway. Okay, we'll pop the card over here. So let's now look for a colour reading for people born in the month of April to see how May 2026 will work out for them. And we start off with a colour combination that signals your strengths. And we have cyan on orange. And now, what is the obstacle that you will be facing throughout May? And what we have here is black on white. And what additional energies are available to you to help you along the way? And what we have here is red on green. The strength is cyan on orange. Orange is the driver here, and what it says is that you have all of the courage and confidence and wherewithal to withstand any sort of crisis or calamity that is headed your way. It doesn't matter what the issue is. It doesn't matter what the crisis is. You always have enough energy, enough drive, enough purpose to be able to overcome because you are a courageous and confident being. In the real world, your biggest asset for May is cyan, in that you are able to remain calm in all situations. You don't allow the crisis to overwhelm. You have confidence and you are showing that confidence, but that confidence comes through as everything's okay. Just settle down. No need to panic. That's the message that comes from cyan on orange. And this is a huge strength. It's a very powerful strength because it allows people to be attracted to you. Cyan is also the color of relationships, of partnerships, people wanting to connect with you because you have this inner assurance that you can overcome anything, and at the same time you're able to spread out that calm, that peace, that confidence in a way that allows other people to be confident in you. Your biggest obstacle for May, though, is an interesting one because it is an opposite. You have black over white. White as an internal driver means that suddenly, somewhere during the month of May, you are going to be faced with something that is entirely unexpected, outside your normal experiences. And while it is very enlightening, it is also a clash with reality. And as an obstacle, this can be an incredibly frightening experience. Your reaction to that experience is to shut off, to close down, to refuse to negotiate, to refuse to even engage with that situation. You are settling out to protect yourself in the only way that is ultimately safe, and that is to withdraw, to get right away, to close yourself off from any interaction and close yourself off from all interactions. The white continues to create havoc inside because the uncertainty of what it is that you don't know about, but is suddenly hitting you like a truth bomb that you had never considered before, is causing you to want to just shut up. And the black and white is, because they are opposites, means that you're swinging from wanting to face it, which is what the white internally also represents, and the needing to get away. So you want, you need. You don't want, you have to. And so this is a constant black and white, backwards and forwards between reality and ultimately fantasy. This also asks you to spend time out and meditate. If something has disturbed your equilibrium to the extent where you're faced with something that is totally unknown to you, something totally novel, then in the real world, maybe it's time to just back off, let it settle, and allow yourself the time to recuperate. But this is the obstacle. So the chances are you probably won't. You probably find yourself quickly becoming depressed and negative, pessimistic about things because you didn't like what it was that came towards you in that reality flash. The additional energy that you've got accompanying you in the month is red on green. Green is always about values when it's internalized, but it's also about a need to get away, to start anew, to leave the past behind. Green allows you to ditch all of those regrets, all of those recriminations, the remorse, the negativity of ideas that involve criticism. You want to get away from all of those and start off again in a new direction. In the real world, you have all of the energy that is necessary because red is power. It's just energy dissipating in any direction whatsoever. And even though the energy is there, this combination here, the red and green together, form brown, which means that there is a particular goal that you want to achieve, but you have not yet determined what that is going to be. There is an additional thing here in that this combination, red over green, is what we call the Robin Hood combination. It is valuing something that will cause you to take on a task that is potentially life-threatening. Robin Hood robbed from the rich, which is a dangerous activity to do, to give to the poor, which actually allowed him to demonstrate his values, his internal desire to make things whole again, to make them better. So, are you going to take a major risk with your life depending on what it is that you hold dear to yourself? Let's have a look at the colours that are missing to see what insights they have to offer us. You have black and you have white. You have red. There's no yellow, but you do have green. There's no blue or brown, but you do have orange. There's no grey or purple or pink, but you do have cyan. Now, the colours that you have here are the ones of the skills that you will be using throughout the month of May. These ones that are the missing colours are the ones that you are not using throughout May. Of course, these are all representing skills that you probably already know about and probably have been practicing in the past. But because they're not able to be easily accessed throughout May, such as these 6 are, you may find yourself needing those skills. So how do you go about acquiring them? Well, the idea here is to choose from those 6 colours the one that is most appealing and then the one that is least appealing. Put those 2 colours into your life somehow. It doesn't matter how you do it. Just add them in on a daily basis throughout the month of May, and you will find that your repertoire here increases, so that when you're faced with this black and white challenge that you have, you will be able to access other skills than just simply standing up and being counted or taking a risk. You'll be able to do something different, and when whatever that difference is, will enable you to manage this crisis, this obstacle, more easily. Now, I'm not going to go into any detail with these missing colors today, because I have each one of those as a separate video as a personality, which not only describes the personality, but also the behaviors that are commensurate with that personality. What I want to look at here is the interactions between these color sets. So we start off with cyan on orange. Then we go to black over white, and finally red over green. Leaving aside the red over green for the moment, let's just quickly look at what happens when we interact between the strength, represented here, and the obstacle, represented here. And we do this by crossing over the drivers. Now we have here a mixture of the strength, which is the ability to remain calm, and the driver or the underlying energy of the obstacle, which is a clash with reality. Cyan on white gives us a different sort of reading, and because of the way in which those colors sit next to one another, it tends to give a more positive outlook than you would expect when we cross a strength and an obstacle. Here, the clash with reality, here the sudden enlightenment that occurs, can also come through as an ability to simply keep things calm down, to make things better for yourself and those around you, and also to make the sort of connections and relationships that will enable you to feel as though everything is okay in your world. The white, the reality check that comes with that white internally, that driver does not interfere with your ability to remain peaceful. On the other hand, we have here the black from the obstacle and the orange from the strength. And when they are together, we have an entirely different picture. The orange as the internal driver is about confidence. It's about dealing with calamity and overcoming. Black, on the other hand, is not showing the hand. It is keeping secrets, maintaining a hidden agenda. And nature's way of telling the world that something is dangerous, poisonous, and potentially life-threatening is to put black and orange together. You have the potential here, and it's a negative potential, to strike unexpectedly at whatever it is that is causing an upset to the status quo in your life. If you are faced with a challenge that you do not like, that you feel as though your confidence is waning, or you feel threatened in any way, there is a good chance that you can strike out suddenly, unexpectedly, and really do some damage. Now, we can also examine these in terms of how the additional energy interacts. And again, we do this by swapping over the driver colors. And here we have the ability to maintain calm from the strength attached to the desire for new beginnings that comes from the additional energy. Green wants you to start off somewhere else. It wants you to find freedom. And in the real world, the world is open to you. You can find freedom anywhere. This is breathing easy. It allows you to feel expansive, to feel connected, to feel as though you are in a state of bliss, because whenever you want to create freedom for yourself, whenever you want to head off in a direction that you haven't gone in before, things work out for you. The other way of doing it is to use the red from the additional energy and add it to the orange of the strength. Now here we have a potential traffic light. Amber comes before red. Amber says, get ready to stop. Red is always the potential for spilling blood, for danger, particularly when it appears in the top, because it says that you are doing things impulsively. So here is the potential for some negative stuff that's coming out of your strength. You are confident, you're courageous, you can weather any storm. But if you do so by attacking, similarly as you did here with the black, this is unexpected attack. This is definitely designed attack. You know exactly what you're going to do. You know that there is a threat to yourself. You know that you can even damage yourself, but you go for it anyway. When that happens, there is always a chance of some sort of negative outcome. So be warned and be on the alert. Get ready to stop. Now we can also do this with this crossover with the obstacle. Here, again, swapping over the drivers, and we end up with red over white. White, the reality check, drives what? Too much hard work. If you find yourself in a situation where you are challenged to take on too much, then you can find yourself exhausting yourself. Red and white together, when we mix the colors, become pink. Pink is a lack of energy. It's a lack of drive. It's a lack of being able to do things for yourself. You will require assistance. And that's what this is all about. This is exhaustion. It is internal exhaustion. And in the real world, you're still struggling to try and meet all of the jobs, all of the goals, all of the responsibilities even that are being thrust upon you. On the other hand, you could also have the black from the obstacle and the green from the additional energy. We end up with black on green. And this is a rather impulsive activity as well. Only this time, instead of attacking, what you are doing is running away. There is a need for space, for freedom, for creating change due to leaving the past behind and moving towards a new future. And the black in the real world says that you will do that suddenly and without allowing anyone to know what it is you're doing, where you are going, why you're going, and what the outcome is of you going in that direction. So this can be a positive thing as well, because it is driven by a change in values. You found something that was more important, that is more valuable to you than this reality clash that you have here. And so instead of having to just simply lock down, slow down, stop, as you might here, instead you simply do something that is unexpected and move away. You allow yourself freedom. Now, sometimes that freedom comes as a result of being locked away. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but black is the ultimate in stability. You can find your freedom, but you can find it by hiding away from what is. Let's have a look at what the Oracle has to say on the subject. It says, thorns. Weathering the challenges ahead will bring in a new and positive future. Thorns are available in just about anything that causes damage. Be careful. Well, there's one thing for sure, and that is, even though we've had a rough number of months, February, March, and April, May doesn't really offer us all of the wonderful future that we might be hoping for. There's still going to be struggle. There's still going to be a need to reevaluate where we are going, what we are doing, what we want out of life. If your reading resonates with you, then certainly I urge you to make use of those missing colours, because they will make a difference to the way in which May 2026 works out for you. In the meantime, I wish you all the best for the month, and I'll see you again at the beginning of June. May the colours of your life bring you all the things that you need for your own happiness and higher good. Catch you next time. Bye.